If you're shopping for a handgun and you're feeling overwhelmed, you're not alone. In today's climate, with recent developments, lots of people are rushing out to get their first handgun. Today we're breaking down 8 commonly owned handguns and helping you figure out which one is the best fit for you, size and purpose. Now, keep in mind, if one of these is close to what you're looking for, you can search for other firearms that are similar. We're looking at these 8 handguns today, and all of these firearms are clear and safe to handle. There's no ammunition here. We have the Sig P365 X Macro, the Glock 19, Glock 47, Springfield Echelon, Walther PDP full size, Taurus G3C, Smith & Wesson 686 Pro, and the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 metal. Now, first things first, size matters depending on how you plan to use the gun. For concealed carry, the Sig P365 X Macro leads the pack. It's slim, lightweight, and it holds 17 rounds, and somehow still shoots like a much larger gun. Then the Taurus G3C. It's compact and very affordable. Great if you're on a budget, though the trigger isn't as refined. It is a very long trigger pull. The Glock 19 is the industry classic. It's the just right of the gun world. Big enough to shoot well, small enough to conceal. Now for home defense, you want something bigger, longer sight radius, more capacity, and softer recoil. So here you have the Walther PDP full size, the Springfield Echelon, and then the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 metal. They all deliver well here. Heavy enough to tame recoil, and they're built to be fast, accurate, and reliable. The Smith & Wesson 686 Pro, it's a .357 Magnum revolver /38 special. And this guy is simplicity with major stopping power. Not great for carry because it is very heavy and bulky, but it's awesome for a nightstand safe. For competition, you want precision, speed, and control. The Walther PDP, Glock 47, and the Echelon, along with the M&P Metal 2.0, they're all great picks here, especially if you're planning to add optics. Now, I will add, many people do use the larger Glocks and do very well in competition. The grip angle here is very, very different. So this is a, I believe, 22-degree angle on this handle, and standard are 18 degrees. So this does put your wrist in a better position. It actually forces you to lock your wrist in position to get those sights aligned properly, and that actually gives you an advantage. It also changes the angle of recoil, so the recoil tends to go more straight back than up. So there are some advantages to it, but the fact that it's different than all of the others makes it stand out for sure. So if you shoot Glocks a lot, it's great. If you shoot Glocks on occasion and you're used to shooting other guns, it will feel very awkward. The Walther PDP, Glock 47, Echelon, and the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 are all great picks here, especially if you're planning to add optics. Caliber, capacity, and recoil. Almost all of these guns are chambered in 9mm, which is ideal. It's effective, affordable, and easy to shoot. Now let's talk capacity. The P365 X Macro, this is 17+1, which is an amazing feat considering the size of this firearm. Then you have the Glock 19, that's 15+1. You can also obviously get extended mags for all of these guns, or most of them. Glock 47, 17+1. Walther PDP, 18+1. Now when I say +1, that means you have your magazine would be the 18, the +1 would be the one that's already chambered. Echelon, 17 to 20, depending on the magazine. The M&P 2.0 metal, 17+1. And then we have the outlier, the Taurus G3C. This is only 12+1, but this one is also more compact, making it much easier for you to actually conceal this. And then of course the 686 Pro. This gives you 6 rounds of .357 Magnum or 38 Special. Many of these firearms can have their mag capacity increased with mag extensions. If you're recoil sensitive or just want an easier gun to train with, the M&P Metal, PDP, and 686 really shine. That extra weight helps absorb recoil and smooths out your follow-up shots. The G3C and the X Macro are a little bit snappier, but it is manageable with practice. Handgun head-to-head. I thought it would be fun to take them all to the range and shoot them all at 25 yards on steel to see if these smaller ones with shorter barrels were actually harder to shoot. Let's see. Now, based on my experience, I can shoot all of them equally well. Some had dots, others just irons, but all of them are more than manageable if you have good fundamentals of shooting. Triggers, shootability, and features. Let's talk how these guns actually feel to shoot. The Walther PDP probably has the best out-of-the-box trigger. It's light, crisp, and has a nice short reset. The M&P metal is no slouch either. Its flat face trigger and all metal frame make it extremely controllable and smooth. The Echelon is modular and optics ready. It has a solid trigger and customizable back straps, as do many of these firearms. And then of course your Glocks, they're known for reliability. They do not have buttery triggers. They're very gritty and somewhat heavier with a longer reset than some of the competition, but they are reliable. The 47 and the 19, they both get the job done, but some shooters eventually upgrade them, typically the triggers first. The G3C has a long, heavy pole with a bit of grit. Now this one is double action. It's usable, but not fun. The 686 Pro, well, it's a revolver. In single action mode, the trigger is insanely good. I'm barely touching that. If the wind blows, that's going off. Super smooth. In double action, it's longer, but it's still smooth. Longer pole, still smooth. Optics, lights, and holsters. All of these, except for the Glock 19, the G3C, and the 686 Pro, are all optics ready out of the box. Some of them you will need plates for. So for example, with this Holosun on the P365 X Macro, I did not need a special plate for this. Same with this Glock. But if I got the Glock 19 MOS, with many of the optics, you have to get a special adapter plate, and that will actually raise the height of it so it's sticking up even higher on your gun, which makes it less chance that you're going to be able to do a cool witness with your iron sights. But again, you can get the MOS version of the Glocks, and they do make some G3Cs that are already ready for an optic. It's somewhat of an upgrade. And as you can also see here, many of these have the rail and can take the different accessories. The main accessory you're going to use is going to be these flashlights, which you can see here on a few of these firearms. Now, whether you should get a flashlight or not, that's a whole different topic. But typically, if you're using this for home defense, a flashlight's not a bad idea. You can identify your target. Obviously, you never want to shoot at something that you can't identify. So the flashlight comes in very handy there. You can also use it for lasers. I don't use lasers, but that's always a good option. And the 686 Pro, of course, no red dots, no lights, just good old iron sights, and they work perfectly fine. Now, holsters matter too. The Glock 19, 47, PDP, and the M&P metal, they all have huge aftermarket support. Holsters, lights, optics, it's all out there. Now, Echelon and the X Macro, they're newer, but they're catching up fast. The G3C and the 686, holsters exist, but you're gonna have to dig a little bit, and you're gonna be more limited on what you can get. Maintenance and reliability. Every gun in this lineup has a reputation for reliability, but there are levels. Your Glocks, the PDP, the Echelon, the M&P Metal 2.0, they are tested, proven, and trusted by law enforcement and civilians. The P365 X Macro and the P320 had early hiccups, but the current version is running well. The Taurus G3C is much better than older Taurus models, but it still has the occasional hiccup. I've had a few jams and I've had a few failures to feed. The 686 Pro, being a revolver, has almost nothing that can go wrong. No mags, no ejection issues, no jams. Just 6 shots of Magnum simplicity. Maintenance-wise, your striker fires are going to be easiest to clean. You just pop off the slide, clean, lube, and you're done. Revolvers can be a little bit more tedious, but they're still not that bad in the long run. Price points. All right, and the part that most people really want to see. Let's talk the price. Taurus G3C. Now this guy comes in around $250 to $300. I believe I got this one for $225. That's going to be your budget. Glock 19 and Glock 47, they were both around that $500 to $600 range. That is pretty typical of Glock, and very rarely do they ever have any sales or anything like that. P365 X Macro. This one's about $650 to $750. That does not include the flashlight or the optic, and it does not include the back straps and the flared magwell. Then the PDP, the Echelon, and also the Smith & Wesson M&P metal. These are all in that $650 to $900 range, and they are definitely a step up in overall quality and build from some of the other cheaper guns. And then of course you have your Smith & Wesson 686 Pro. This one is around $950 to $1,100, and there are other competitors like the Python from Colt that are in a similar price range. Actually, I think they're actually closer to $1,400, but you're paying for high quality, you're paying for the stainless steel, and you're paying for the craftsmanship. Now, as we all know, price doesn't tell the whole story, but it can definitely help you narrow it down. Final recommendations. So which would you choose? Tell me down in the comments. Concealed carry. The P365 X Macro is a near perfect CCW package. It's compact, high capacity, and optics ready. Runner-up, Glock 19. Legendary reliability, proven carry gun. Home defense, Walther PDP full size, soft shooter, huge capacity, and amazing ergonomics. Runner-up, M&P metal. Super soft shooting, soft recoil, great trigger. Competition and range fun. Walther PDP, Glock 47, or the Echelon are all excellent choices. Wildcard, the Smith & Wesson 686 Pro. Classic wheel gun, big punch, zero malfunctions. On a budget, the Taurus G3C is the best bang for your buck. Just be ready to train. Now I will say, many people that have used this and have tested this against like the Glock 26, for example, which is roughly about the same size, they actually prefer this. There's no perfect gun for everything, but there is a perfect gun for you. Put your favorite gun down in the comments. If this breakdown helped, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this to your friends. Check out these other videos to keep on learning, and I'll see you on the next one.